Oh, this is not a spring chicken. We're stretching your dollar when it comes to child care. You're probably wondering, what in the world would I know about child care?
Well, you have nieces and nephews.
But I do have, that's true, I have nieces and nephews. And I did figure out the best way, my brother told me this, the best way to get the younger one to behave was to tell the older one to make the younger one behave, because they're used to doing it all the time.
And let's put it this way. I am from a totally different generation, and my father would tell my mother would tell me, and then they would leave us alone.
Okay. So anyway, child care is not quite what it used to be, because remember before, I wasn't during that time, but before, when children were young, the parents would work, or they'd either be home with them, or sometimes the kids would just stay home by themselves.
Yeah, I'm a World War II kid, folks. So I do remember being, I also, I was at home. They got pictures of me holding my brother in my lap in the backyard. So
child care is not just for when you're going to work, but it's also for when you just want some free time to yourself. In fact, one of the best things I will say for marriages, it's one of our friends who told us, one of the best things that they have ever done is to make a date night every single week. So even if they didn't go anywhere, because sometimes you just had a babysitter come over, watch the kids, so they could go out on a date, or sometimes they just watch the kids so they could have some free time to themselves. Well, actually, it's their date night, so they could have free time together to help nurture the relationship.
See, aren't they pushing that in a Viagra commercial where the guy is all ready and he's taking his Cialis or something, or Viagra, and his daughter and the family comes home, and he basically, and they point out that, and he's really happy that they've came home, but that was their night.
Okay.
So,
I haven't seen that one.
Even senior citizens can have nights.
Okay.
Of course, then most senior citizens don't look like they are former fashion models and Playboy playmates, but...
So the date night is really important if you have a child or children, or unless you're lucky enough and you've got, nannies. And of course, if you've got nannies, I guess you're not worried about child care, right?
But I mean,
you are more worried about child care because you do have nannies.
But you just look at the movies. I mean, Daddy Daycare. You go even to Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones. He, making certain that his daughter was watched while he was working, and that when he wasn't working and trying to do something, that his daughter was watched.
I know, it's kind of a tricky thing. Well, today we're gonna focus on more of this one area, which is you want to have some extra time, and instead of hiring a babysitter, what can you do?
We know what you can do. In Southern California, it's real simple.
What's that?
If you live around Disneyland, you send your children over to Disneyland.
If they're old enough to wander around by themselves.
If they're old enough to wander around, but we've seen them in the afternoon. There are certain days of the week the park is just totally filled full of unescorted children. And guess what may be going on?
Knott's Berry Farm also has something like that, I think.
Universal Studios.
And if you're down by San Diego, Legoland.
Movie theaters. That's right.
They just drop your kids off?
Drop your kids off. And
that's like dropping your kids off at the mall, too.
That's right. But you're at the movie theater, where you know that you got exactly like the length of the movie.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Those are all really good ideas.
Dumping your kid, another good way.
It's not dumping.
Well, no, it is dumping. That's what
Isn't that why kids go to camp?
That's why they go to camp. I mean, I never.
I think kids go to camp. Well, actually, because you're supposed to have fun and do all these other things, but because their parents have busy schedules.
They basically.
And they need to still continue working, so they send them off to camp.
You ever watch a movie about camps?
What?
All the kids there, their parents, they dumped you off again this year, didn't they? Okay, I'm going to go back. My age again. The Mickey Mouse Club basically was on, almost 60 years ago now.
I know, but I don't know if camp...
Mickey Mouse Club, Spin and Marty. That was a Western dump-off thing, and all the kids knew that they were being dumped off by their parents because their parents wanted to have some free time. I mean, it's basically... I come from a generation where my family made certain that I never had a babysitter, folks. My family never had babysitters, period. We took care of our own.
Well, reminds me, that is probably one of the best reasons for enrolling your kids in some of these classes and courses where they go, you know, maybe you'll feel like a chauffeur, but it does give you a little bit of
Sunday school things that are, you know, during the summer.
catechism,
They you know, but they have their they have these little things that you can go to like 6 days a week and learn crafts and all of this stuff. Another one right next to us, a soccer camp.
Oh, that's right, soccer day. Boy, there's lots of things, and some of them cost money, some of them don't.
You know, but,
so it depends on who's sponsoring it. I know museums have all these things for children.
that's right. Your local parks department can tell you about things that they have that you can put your children in during the summer, and they do have a lot of evening activities across this country for children.
Well, also even too, like at the local gym here, they have. They don't call it kiddie care. Anyway, you can go to the gym, take your kid there, and they have activities for the kids that are not in the gym.
Yeah.
But it's like daycare at the gym. And sometimes there's a lot of people that have employers that actually have daycare for kids.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some of them locally that have playgrounds and stuff. But I thought of another thing: parents' night out at the movie theaters. A movie. You know, the parents can go to one theater, which is a little bit more fancy and maybe serves a little bit of something.
You know, that's an idea because, you know, they talk about this date night where you spend time with your spouse. Sometimes that date night may be as simple as the kids go to one movie and you go to the other.
But it's arranged specifically for that, though. And that's why a lot of theaters will have they'll put an adult movie running along with the children's movie.